Welcome back, guys. I'm Zell, and today we've got a From the Grinder video and a quick update on the Chris Reeve Small Sebenza 21 Insingo dual thumb lug. Yep, got it that time. Woo! Anyhow, this knife so far has been treating me pretty good. It is a full left-hand knife, and go back to the unboxing a unicorn video if you're curious about what I'm actually doing with a left-hand knife. And left hand means that the lock bar goes this way instead of this way. We'll talk about that and how that affects me later on. The reason this thing was a unicorn, and the reason I titled that video Unboxing Unicorn, I didn't explain very well, and that's my fault. But Chris Reeve only makes these knives about once a year. And by these knives, I mean left-hand knives. So, to get a Small Sebenza 21 Insingo dual thumb lug that's not blue and left hand makes it a unicorn. And it's a unicorn that so far is serving me pretty well. We'll talk more about that in a culmination video and probably a couple of more short videos hooked up to something like this in the future. But if anybody knows how to get those marks off there, that would be wonderful. Put on there by the beautiful ring my wife got me that's made out of some ridiculously hard material. And so if you know how to get them off, let me know down in the comments. Here's a gratuitous opening for the Sebenza people and one for the rest of us. And for all you Sebenza folks that talking about this stop pin, if that stop pin needs to be replaced, I'll either buy one from Chris Reeve or I'll just make my own if they want too much for it. It'll be okay. I don't need you telling me that I'm not supposed to do this or that with a knife. You guys are as bad as the Glock in 1911 people. Quit it. Now, on to the Shivers. Oh, so let's get a look at them. These are what I've been grinding up in the shop for the past day or so. First one up, we have the, what I'm going to call the slightly more heavy-duty Shiver. And it's more heavy-duty because we've got about a 30 thousandths edge before we put the final edge on it. And all these knives still have to be finish sanded, some cleanup done with them, several little things to get them ready to go to the coater. And so anyhow, that is the slightly heavier duty, and we'll see why here in just a minute. Here is the kind of drop pointy, spear pointy one that's lighter duty, and what we have here is about a 20 thousandths edge and a very soft plunge grind. And yes, I know my fingers are dirty. I have tried to clean them. I've had the brush under them, and I just am a dirt and magnet whenever I'm out in the shop, and that's where I just came down from. Anyhow, nice soft plunge grind and very soft. I mean super soft. And the first one of you that thinks we need a sharpening choil on this, just no, not gonna happen. Sorry. Anyhow, there you go. And the difference here comes down to the tips mostly. The tip on the thicker knife is of course going to be thicker, where this one's going to be thinner and slicier. This one will be a little thicker and you can do a little more with it. So there you go. Next up is the one that was supposed to end up kind of sheep's footish, and well, it did and it didn't. I didn't like the final grind height I got out of this one, so you know, it's, some of you may love it, but it just didn't do it for me. You know, still got nice grinds and a nice plunge grind, and this one will probably get a sharpening choil because we got a buck style plunge grind on this one. And you know, hopefully future versions of this will come out more like this with a 1 or 2 millimeter kick up right here. So now we're going to talk about some other things, but first, how do you get your hands on one? Well, that is going to be a tough thing. I mean, if you want to send me an offer that's big enough to buy me lots of tooling, or, you know, I need a mill, or a lathe, or lots of abrasives, or more steel, well, I'll entertain bids like that. And basically what I'm saying there is, if you want to send a bid in that's something like that, go ahead. I will definitely entertain it. Otherwise, the way these things are going to go is, if you are interested, most of them are going to go out through email. And what I mean by that is, if you're interested in the Shiver, you need to send me an email, and I'm going to take the people that are interested in the drop point, spear pointy thing, or the Warncliffe, or a Warncliffe with a little bit of raise on it, and I'm going to put you guys in different lists. Now, they're not going to be this is the first guy, this is the second guy, this is the third guy. Not going to be lists like that. They're going to be lists of people, email lists. And whenever I have one of these finished, everybody that wanted a drop point, I'm going to send you an email with a stupid amount of pictures, or I may stick the pictures somewhere. I've got a couple of websites I could stick the pictures on and just put a link to it, so I may do it that way. But I'm going to send you a set of pictures, or a link to a set of pictures, and the first person to email back will get the first shot at the knife. And most payment is probably going to be through PayPal, unless we make some other arrangement. And that's just a matter of, it's the easiest thing for me to do, and I just don't have a lot of time. And that's how it's going to work. So it's not going to be a numbered list, your first, your second, your third, because these are custom knives. And what I mean by custom knives is things that come out of the Todd Knife and Tool North shop, and the South shop for that matter right now. Both shops are 100% custom. And what that means is they may come off the same pattern, but what happens between that pattern and the finished product, every one of them is going to be slightly different. So I don't want somebody to see a picture of this knife and go, I want that, and then the Warncliffe that comes up is not exactly this. And I'm not going to try to turn myself into a Xerox machine. That's not my game. Every one of them is going to be its own knife. If you take these four and put them together, they're all slightly different. Handles are even slightly different. And they all come off of the same pattern. So that's why I don't want to do a straight list. Plus, I don't want people waiting for a ridiculous amount of time. And I think that's all I'm going to say about that. They're custom, so I want people to have the opportunity to look before they're supposed to buy. That's why we're not going to do a 1 through whatever list. And steel. Somebody's going to ask about this, so we're going to cover it. These are all 1095. They're all going to get, my intent is to coat them all. They may end up, some of them, in acid, with an acid stone wash, but my intent is to coat them all with either ceramic or Cerakote. I've got to talk to my coater and see exactly what he suggests. He's done a lot of this, so he's a great resource. And we have some 440C on the way. 440C, it requires a bit of a different heat treat. Eats up a few more abrasives, and of course may or may not have to be coated. That kind of depends on how I want to finish them. So there's that will change things a little bit as far as pricing goes whenever we've got pricing. And then I have been trying to get a hold of some CTS XHP, and whenever I do get a hold of some CTS XHP, we will do some in that steel. And now, as we talked about, there will be price differences, of course, between the steels. But I'm going to try to keep the price differences as minimal as I can. That's the goal anyhow. It kind of depends on how much time and effort the heat treat and the extra tooling and abrasive takes up for the 440C and the CTS XHP. And I plan to keep 1095 around. I've got plenty of it, and I know that some of you really love 1095. So as long as there is some demand for 1095, I will make some in 1095. 440C may stay or may not. Depends on the availability of XHP. So, you know, it's all that big mess of stuff. But that is the plan for things going forward. And, you know, guys, I really appreciate your interest in these knives. I feel kind of guilty for having to make the terms of buying them the way they are, but I want to make them available to you, and I don't want to end up putting them all over on Instagram and selling them that way, or sticking them all on a website and selling them that way. I would like for the whole experience to be a little more personal. In fact, it will be personal because you'll be getting one of my crappy sheaths. And I'm trying to do better there, guys. It's just that, for whatever reason, kicks my butt. But they're getting better. I've got an idea for the next one. But I would like for the whole process to be a little more personal and a little less, you know, order it off the website. However, you know, if that's the direction that we end up going because of demand or popularity or, you know, or whatever, you know, we'll have to do that too. But as long as they are made here, these fixed blades are made here in either of the Todd Knife and Tool shops, whenever they are fully made here, they will be one-offs. Each one of them will be custom. If things change in the future, I'll let you know. But for now, it's all one-off, all custom. I really appreciate you guys hanging out and listening to all that, because, I don't know, I feel like too much stuff I felt like I had to say, and which was kind of ridiculous, I know. But if you're interested in them, send me an email, and don't expect some kind of reply really quickly, because it's going to take a while for me to get everything rolling and get some of these out. But they're on the way. And you guys have a wonderful day. Don't forget to like, share, and subscribe, and send me an email about the Shiver that you want, and I'll see you next time.